Welcome back to the Witch of Bees and Bones. Good morning. Happy Umbolc. It is a balmy -2 degrees Fahrenheit here in New Hampshire this morning. Um, I choose to live here, but I'm still gonna bitch about it because it's really fucking cold. So I'm all bundled up. Before I head out for my day, I wanted to sit down and discuss a couple things. I have a deck to talk about that I received a bit ago, and we've been getting to know each other, but I'm not we're still getting to know each other, and I enjoy the deck, but I think that this might be one of those decks that is better to be read intuitively than to go by the guidebook. But we'll talk about that in a moment. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I was looking at Instagram posts yesterday, and there's a person I follow. Actually, we follow each other on my Witch of Bees and Bones Instagram. Um, and my personal as well. I'll link them both down below. But I digress. I was reading their post, and it it struck me as it was very, very beautiful. I'll share it with you now. Excuse me for looking at my phone. I want to get it right. It is the first day of February. Happy Imbolc. We're halfway to spring. Let the light in. I think I'll be taking a break from shadow work and letting the longer light heal my reopened and explored wounds. Whew, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I am a person that I do a ton of deep, hard wound digging shadow work in my practice. And it's kind of, I think that the left-hand path and the path that I choose and the deities that I work with, it's pretty much all about shadow work and like really getting in there. And so I tend to forget that I get to also honor the healed wounds and to heal the wounds that I've been digging out. And Abby's statement yesterday really struck me, and I reached out to them and I thanked them because I needed that reminder that it's because things are about cycles, and because things are about growth, and because things are about seasons, that I can now I can take a step back from the shadow work. And that doesn't mean that it stops, and that doesn't mean I won't go back to it, but it means that I get to honor the healing that's happened. And I kind of wanted to share that because it really struck me, and I really appreciate that, because frankly I'd forgotten, because I'm like, dig deeper, get more done, work harder, figure all this out. And it was really nice to be like, oh shit, like I can take this moment. And so I really appreciate them and for sharing that. So I just wanted to say that at the beginning of this video. Um, and again, happy Imbolc. We're halfway there. We're almost to spring. I'm looking really forward to hearing spring peepers and seeing my first Phoebe and visiting some vernal pools. And I have hope that spring will arrive. So the deck I'd like to talk about today is this deck, beautiful artwork. And it is called the Botanical Oracle. I got it on Etsy by a shop called For Strange Women, which I was like, oh, well, I'm a strange woman and I like oracle decks and I like botanical things. So, hey, let's do this. And I ordered it, and it says on the back, the Botanical Oracle. This 53 card oracle deck is illustrated by Ash Mayagwa. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry if I did not. The artwork originally created to represent For Strange Women's limited edition botanical perfumes interprets a new concept for every new moon over the course of several years. Mayagwa's delicate style explores the themes of flora, fauna, and mysticism in this collection. These cards are designed to offer balanced insight into a variety of topics relating to decisions, relationships, and situations in need of clarity or direction. So the deck is lovely. It's darker. Nobody's that's seen my channel is going to be shocked by the fact that it's a darker deck and that I like it. The artwork is beautiful. The box is really nice. It's solid. It does have a little guidebook that comes with it. Very little. It's just like more of a pamphlet. You know, it shows you how to do some spreads, and then it has the explanations of the cards. So the deck is lovely. It is gold foil trimmed. It is a dream to shuffle. It feels really nice in your hands. So I like that. It fans nicely. It has a nice aesthetic. It has this lovely little hand on the front of it. The first card I want to talk about, I'll show you some more, but the card that really struck me is I saw this card, and it's called Frozen Lilacs. Trying to get a good view of it. There you go. So you see lilacs, darker hues with ice on them. Intuitively, this card meant something lost, because in New Hampshire, in the spring, it is not uncommon to get a spring frost or a spring snow. And lilacs come out usually after that happens. But if it were to snow on lilacs, they would not survive. So this seems like a loss, or like something was growing and then ice happened and overtook it. So when I have a new deck, I like to sit with it. And I think I've mentioned this in other videos. And I like to look at the artwork and the colors and the direction things are going and all of that with decks. And I like to get a feeling for it. But then I really like to look at the explanations in the guidebooks, because to me it's sort of like, you know how they say when you go to a restaurant, you eat the food as the chef prepares it for fine dining. And I feel like time and energy and intention was put into this, and so that I should know what that intention was. So I gave you my thoughts on this. I'd be curious to hear what other people have to say about this card. And then when you look it up in the guidebook, Frozen Lilacs, partnership, marriage, and commitment. And I don't get it. I don't have to get it. Again, as I was reminded by the lovely Just Reads cards, like this might be one of those decks that we just read intuitively, and it's not a matter of the guidebook so much. But I'll be honest, I was put off by that. And then I started using the deck a little more and doing it intuitively, and it's worked much better for me. And so I think that's an important thing to share, particularly if somebody's just kind of starting out on their card journey. The thing about Oracle cards is, they can be more intuitive, and we can make that decision for ourselves. I always want to honor the artist and the intention, but if it really is different from what you're sensing, everybody has a different palette, so to speak. So I think that it would be better to get the idea of what they're talking about, and if that doesn't resonate, then use it intuitively, because the deck is beautiful, and I do get a very how do I want to put this, like clear messages from it. Just it doesn't always jive with the little guidebook. So, but I'll show you some more of the cards. Let's see here. So, this is the card. That's strange because I cleared this deck. So this is the card that I pulled yesterday. It's beautiful, and it reminds me of a clock that my grandparents had, and I live in the house that my grandparents were in, and that my mom grew up in. And the Jade Orchid. Baba Yaga. I'd be interested to know how many of you work with Baba Yaga's energy. Baba Yaga keeps coming up for me recently in some reading I've been doing, so I'm just kind of sitting with that at the moment. We're not unfamiliar with each other, but they're not somebody that I've worked super intensely with, so maybe it's time. The library. So you can see here that the imagery is beautiful. Hypnosis. If you can hear mechanical sounds in the back, they're trimming some trees this morning, so I apologize. Perspective. Vixen, female fox. Great card. Bats. So the bat card, it's funny because in some other decks there were bats, and they all mean different things in every deck, which is interesting to me, which means the intent of the artist was such that they put into it. So bats refers to the person asking the questions, self-reflection, self-awareness, and listening to yourself. Do not rely on your eyes. So see, that one kind of works because bats don't, you know, that makes sense to me. So some of them hit and some of them don't. I really like, if you're not a spider person, you're going to want to like skip ahead a couple seconds, but this is the tarantula card, which I also really enjoy. But this is I will link it down below. I don't believe this was this isn't what I would consider an investment deck. Oh, the Nightshade card. I have an affinity for Belladonna and Nightshades. I have a poison garden in my backyard, and I don't have children and I don't have outside animals, and nothing gets into it, and wild animals stay away from things because they know that they're toxic. But they're really beautiful, and I have Nightshade in there, and I have Wolfsbane and Dicentra and some other really cool things, which I can talk about in another video if somebody would like me to. Medicine Garden, Chamomile. So see, these cards are really lovely, and this deck is really nice, and I've enjoyed pulling, like doing a daily draw with it. It's not overwhelming, it's not verbose. Kind of what it says is what it is, and I have opted to go by the my intuitive feeling of the card. And again, I do like to read what the guidebook has to say. But this is just kind of a fun deck. Again, not super crazy money. It came nicely. It's a women-owned company. And the name of the company is For Strange Women. I think it ticks all the boxes. But it was a nice reminder. Again, I keep getting these kind of reminders from folks, the universe through other folks, that there are different ways to do things. And I think that when you're used to being different, you still find your way of doing things. And sometimes you get stuck in that. And I'll be honest, I was really hung up on that Frozen Lilacs card. I was like, what does that even mean? But when I did step back and took the advice of just doing this deck intuitively, it's helped really connect with it. Like this Maidenhair Fern is really lovely. I love ferns. I have pictures of ferns all over my house. I've got tattoos of ferns. I've got a fern bed in my backyard. So it's just, I really connected with this deck. Does everybody need this deck? Probably not. If you're a nature witch, if you're a forest witch, if you're a green witch, if you're an herbalist, if you like to connect with plants and nature, and that's nourishing for you, and you want a nice deck that isn't verbose, it isn't overwhelming, it's also not fluffy. It's not like a feel-good deck. It's just a nice solid deck. So for right now, we're still getting to know each other, but I would give this deck, I don't want to grade it, that's ridiculous, but I think this could be very useful for a lot of people, but I don't think it's like this is the deck that everybody has to have in their collection. So that's my take on it. Oh, and inside the box, it also has a little For Strange Women and a little butterfly above it. Because, you know, around these parts, we really like us some strange women. And we really like being strange women, or men, or non-binary folks. We just like being strange, and that works for us. So this was a little bit of a rambly video. I feel like I say that every video because I tend to ramble, but here we are. So I will see you all very soon. Thank you again for all your lovely comments and for reaching out. I got some great comments about people's practices from my last video that I'm really, really enjoying reading, and some things that I wasn't familiar with, and I love learning things, so it's been lovely. So I do respond to all of the comments, and you know, as they say, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel and all of that. But I appreciate all of you dearly, and this has been really fun, and I want it to continue to be fun for everyone. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and wish you a very beautiful day. Go find something beautiful out there, even in the frigid cold, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care. Be well.